All right, welcome guys. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. We got 6 NBA games to talk about. I think it's actually a pretty good slate too. So I do like this one. Let's go over what we know so far. So Trae Young probable. We did get news that him, Capella, and Onyeka are all game time decisions. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Siakam, Van Fleet, OG still out for Toronto. So they're once again thin. Jarrett Culver doubtful. McLaughlin out. Let's see. Some of the stuff is from the early games. Magic. Terrence Ross is available, so that kind of takes the value out of play, in my opinion. They're starting MCW, Bacon, Okiki, Aminu, and Vooch. Tyler Hero, questionable. Not huge news, but, if he's out, that's a bigger boost to Jimmy Butler. We already have Bam out. Would make, Dragic and Nunn a little bit more viable there. Again, the Spurs game is not in the main slate. Yeah, Trae Young, Capella, and Okongo, all game time decisions. So that's where we're at right now, guys. Let's take a look at these Vegas odds. I'm going to go team by team, talk about the players I like, and get to questions at the end. So we'll start with Miami and Orlando. It's a 207 over-under. The Miami Heat are 7.5-point favorites. Cavs and Hawks, a 221 over-under. The Hawks are 5.5-point favorites. Celtics and Rockets, a 221 over-under. The Celtics are 11-point favorites. Blazers, T-Wolves, 233.5 over-under. The Blazers are 5-point favorites. Clippers and Pelicans, a 233 over-under. The Clippers are 5.5-point favorites. And Raptors, Bulls, 230 over-under. The Bulls, the 3-point favorites. All right, so let's start with Miami and Orlando. So on the Miami side, again, we're waiting on Tyler Hero news. Somewhat significant. Again, if he's out, it's a slight boost to guys like Dragic, like Kendrick Nunn, would make them more playable. Jimmy Butler at the top, let's start with him. So, obviously this game has a low over-under. It's, 207. So, not the most appealing game for DFS purposes, but Jimmy Butler just continues to get 50-plus fantasy points. He continues to stuff the stat sheet, and I'm just not scared of Orlando defensively. So I do like Jimmy a lot at the top. Again, Dragic and Nunn are fine plays if there's no Tyler Hero, so keep an eye on that one. Kelly Olynyk at 6.1K, I still think is good play in the mid-range. I think this price point will scare some people off, but he's going to play about 35 minutes. As long as he stays out of foul trouble, a guy that can, stuff the stat sheet. He's a good three-point shooter. So I do think Kelly Olynyk's a pretty solid play there in the mid-range. Other than that, there's really not a ton else I like for Miami. So that is it for the Heat. Moving on to Orlando, it's Vucevic at the top at 9.9K. Orlando has been absolutely awful. I think the only way they can stay in this game is a big game from Vooch. They scored 77 points against the San Antonio Spurs. 77 points. Again, Vucevic is the only way, in my opinion, that they can stay in this game. And there's no Bam, so that's a boost to him. Again, he'll be matched up against Olynyk, who is not a great defender. So I do like Vooch at the top. I think he will go overlooked in the slate. No thank you at 7K for Terrence Ross. With Terrence Ross in, that takes a hit to really everyone else. Like MCW is not out of play, but downgrade him. I'm not paying 4.6 for Bacon with Terrence Ross back. Aminu, no thank you. I'm not chasing Okiki at 3.7. I'm kind of off the rest of the Magic. All right, so let's move on to Cleveland and Atlanta. Honestly, on the Cleveland side at least, not a ton I like. It is a good matchup. Jared Allen, a little bit too pricey. Sexton, no thank you. Too scoring dependent for a point guard at 8K. Garland back too. Kevin Love, absolutely not. Larry Nance, no. Chetty Osman, no. Okoro, no. I'm out on Cleveland. So no one I have interest in. On the Atlanta side, it really just depends on this news, right? So Capella news is big. I think he's the one that's more questionable. Trae Young was originally probable, so I think he'll be able to go. Now, if we get news that both Trae Young and Clint Capella are out, then that completely flips the slate. It completely changes everything. So then John Collins would probably be a must play. Then Rajon Rondo would be a must play. And then Bogdan Bogdanovic would look amazing for value. And these other mid-range guys like Gallinari and Herter would look great. So if both Trae Young and Capella are out, then you're actually going to want to load up in Atlanta. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Trae Young plays. I think Capella's a little bit more up in the air. So if Trae Young does play at 9.3K, I don't think he's going to be super popular in the slate. I think there's other plays that kind of stand out a little bit more, but he's a guy that does have 50-plus hands point upside, so I do like him if he plays. Again, Capella, if he plays, I think is a good play. He's not playing huge minutes, but I'm expecting around 30 and should be able to feast against Jared Allen, who is not a good defender. So the top two guys, if they do play for Atlanta, I actually like them both. And if both Young and Capella are in, then I'm kind of out in Collins, Gallo, Herter. The one value guy I think you could still look to is Bogdan. He has shot 2 of 18 the last 2 games. So he's not going to continue, hopefully not, shoot that bad. When he gets a decent shooting game, I think they will extend his minutes a bit and maybe play 25 to 30. So I'm a little bit intrigued by Bogdan. He's a riskier value play, though, for sure. And that's it for the Atlanta Hawks. All right, guys, that's 2 games up, 2 games down. We are at 170 viewers for a Sunday. That is great. Can you guys, we're at 20 likes. If you can hit that like button, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's aim for 100 before the end of the show. I'll make sure to leave some time for questions at the end. So thank you guys for spending your Sunday with me. I know we got Selection Sunday, soon, or is it going on now? But yeah, I appreciate everyone coming to check out the stream. Moving on to Boston and Houston. So this game has some blowout risk. On the Boston side, nothing really stands out. It's a great matchup, but Tatum, Brown, Kemba all seem appropriately priced. No thank you to Marcus Smart. The bigs seem a little bit pricey. If I had to take a shot on one, it would be Robert Williams because he's a solid point per minute guy. But again, $5K. Not really a lot of like it on the Boston side. Now, it's different for Houston. Houston's a team I have a lot more interest in. So Oladipo, if you think they can keep it close, Oladipo is one of the better spot-ups for sure. It's not the best matchup, but it's going to be him and Kevin Porter Jr. that are going to be the offense. So do like Oladipo. If you think they can keep it close, no thank you on Jayshawn Tate. That's too expensive. Patton seems priced about right. Kevin Porter Jr. is the other obvious play that stands out. $5K is still too cheap, even with Oladipo there. Absolutely love Kevin Porter Jr. Again, clear play in my eyes. Sterling Brown with Oladipo back, downgrade him. I just think, again, that seems all right. Like, not too expensive, not too cheap. The value I'm really looking to is KJ Martin. He should play probably around 25 to 30 minutes. He's a big. Again, he went for a double-double last game, almost a double-double game before. So I actually do have some interest in KJ Martin for value. McLemore a little bit risky with McLemore and Nwaba are riskier with Oladipo. They're not out of play. But this is not the same situation as Houston was, a couple slates ago where you wanted to load up because they had like an 8-man rotation. All right, so that's it for Houston, guys. Lifting Bishops with a $1 super chat. Thank you, man. No comment, but I really appreciate the support. Thank you again. What Selection Sunday? Selection Sunday for March Madness. All right, let's talk about Portland and Minnesota. So this is a game that has, in my opinion, a lot of upside. 2 teams that play fast, 2 teams that don't play a whole lot of defense. I think you're going to want some exposure to this game. So let's start with Damian Lillard at 10.3K. Again, great spot here. He shot the ball not great, 7 of 19. That last game against Minnesota still won for almost 50 fantasy points. It was 125 to 121. That was yesterday, right? Yeah, that was yesterday. So Dame is a guy that I do like at the top. Enes Kanter is well below 7K. He's going to have to play around 32 to 35 minutes, again, against Karl-Anthony Towns. Towns is a good offensive player, but not a great defender. So you can definitely run Cat and Kanter together. I mentioned that as, a build that you could do last slate, and it worked out, right? Kanter won for almost 40, Cat won for 60. So I like both centers in this game. The wings, no thank you. I'm just kind of done trying to even take one of those wings. They're too inconsistent. I'm just going to stay away on the 6-game slate. All right, so we got news. Trey is playing and Capella is out. Okay, so we can circle back there for a sec. We'll see. Is Okongo in? Okongo ruled out too. So I'm curious to see what they do with the starting lineup now. Do they start John Collins at the 5? Do they start maybe a guy like Bruno Fernando? So, yeah, with no Okongo, they are thin at the big position, that being the Atlanta Hawks. So we can go back, circle back here. Again, Okongo out, Capella out. I'm guessing Bruno will get in this rotation. We'll see what they do the starting lineup. Nathan Knight. Honestly, I didn't even know this guy was on the roster. I would think Bruno probably plays over him. And then again, Collins gets a really big boost here. Now, Trae Young is playing, so it's not like he's going to be the number one offense, but John Collins is a guy that should play over 30 minutes and should play a lot at the 5. So I do like him a good amount there in the mid-range with Clint Capella out. Now, the last time Capella was out, I think John Collins busted. So it's no guarantee, but he's a guy that he just gets a really big boost when playing the 5. Kind of like Kelly Olynyk, right? Kelly Olynyk, the first game when he played the 5, people didn't go to him because they thought he was going to be a similar player like he was playing the 4. And that was a huge mistake by a lot of people. And this is kind of the same thing, right? John Collins has just been subpar playing the 4. But like I said, he gets a massive boost when he plays the 5. So I'm curious to see what they do with the starting lineup. If he starts the 5, that's a pretty big boost to him. So I do like John Collins a good amount. So that's kind of my thoughts there. Automatic play? No, not automatic. Again, he's busted. I think a couple times with Capella out, but the upside just goes way up. So, yeah, I think he's someone that is for sure viable in the mid-range. So we talked about Portland. Let's move on to Minnesota. So Minnesota, Karl-Anthony Towns, I think is one of the best spend-ups. He played 34 minutes last game. I'm expecting somewhere around 30 to 34. He went for 64 fantasy points. Again, Cantor, not a good defender. So I do like Cat a lot at the top. Don't mind Anthony Edwards, more of a tournament play. But again, he's getting a ton of shot attempts up. So the top two guys from Minnesota both look pretty solid. Ricky Rubio, in a close game, did play over 30 minutes. He's a guy that does... Honestly, he can get a triple-double and playing really well, right? He's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet, so... And it is a good matchup. I think Rubio's like a fair play in the mid-range. Noel off the bench seems a little bit too pricey. McDaniels at 4.6K. I don't really want to pay that price for him. The guy that does intrigue me here, I don't know if a lot of people get to him. Juancho Hernangomez. Played 24 minutes on the bench. Now, let me just say this. There is no guarantee that he plays close to 24 minutes. There's a chance he gets a DNP here. We just don't know. But if he does play over 20 minutes, I think there's a good chance he can pay off that min-price salary. So I am intrigued by Juancho Hernangomez there at the flat min-price if he does get in this rotation. All right, 2 games left here. So the Clippers and the Pelicans. I really like Kawhi and Paul George at the top. The Pelicans have been playing faster recently. Kawhi, Paul George, both should play 35-plus minutes. So I really do like both of them. I think they're two of the better plays in the slate. Paul George at 8-1 and Kawhi at 9K. Again, I like both. Centers, Ibaka, Zubac, probably one of those guys will have a decent game, but I'm not trying to go to a guessing game on the 6-game slate. There is no Pat Beverly. If Reggie Jackson starts, I think he's a fair play. Probably plays around 25 minutes. Is, again, a decent offensive player. So I think Reggie would be viable if he does start. I'm guessing Terrence Mann will kind of play the backup point guard role. They also have Lou Williams, so... Or maybe they start Terrence Mann. If Terrence Mann starts, then I think he's someone you could look to as a punt play there at that price. On the Pelicans, Zion Williamson at 8.6K is someone that I don't know if it's going to be super popular. Back-to-back games of blowouts, but previously he's been getting like close to 50 fantasy points every single game that stays close. And he's now priced below 9K, so I do like Zion at the top. Ingram, Lonzo, Bledsoe, nah. Steven Adams, I think is a fair play at 5.3K. NAW's at 4.2. He's been getting more minutes recently, but again, there's some of these games have been blowouts. You can take a shot at him. I'm a big NAW fan, but no guarantee there for minutes for him. I do want to mention Jackson Hayes actually played a little bit over Hernangomez. I don't know if that's going to continue. Again, Hernangomez only 6 and 7 minutes the last couple games, so curious to see what's going on there. Maybe you can take a shot on Jackson Hayes and hope he kind of surpassed Hernangomez there in the depth chart. Final game, Toronto, Chicago. This is definitely a game you're going to want some interest in. Kyle Lowry at the top is one of my favorite plays. I don't think he's going to be super popular. If you played him last night, you got so unlucky. He was on pace for probably close to 60 fantasy points, and the game blew out against a bad Charlotte team. So absolutely love Lowry here in a great matchup. Don't mind Norman Powell. Again, he had a bad shooting game, so he only went for 25 fantasy points. That is the risk, but also when he's shooting the ball well, he has upside. So Norman Powell firmly in play because of minutes and shot attempts. I do like Chris Boucher as a GPP play. I don't know if I get to him in cash games. I think this price point will scare some people off, but we've seen some massive games here from Boucher. And like I said, I love targeting bigs against the Bulls, so I do like him for GPPs. Aaron Baines barely played the last game, so I don't know if I could pay almost 5K for him. With Bembry and Stanley, they've both been starting. Bembry's been playing more, but still not like huge minutes. And again, like 4.4 is not like the best price either. I think he's an okay option. Terrence Davis, not getting a ton of minutes. No thank you on like Watson or Matt Thomas or Watanabe. I will mention like Henry Ellenson did play 18 minutes. He's a good point per minute guy, but a lot of that was in garbage time. He only played a little bit in the close game, so it's like he's a high risk, high reward play. Maybe they want to give him minutes over Aaron Baines, and maybe he plays like 15ish minutes, but there's also a chance he gets a DNP. So finally, Chicago. The big news is Satoransky and Thad Young are starting. So Tomas Satoransky at 3.2K. I think you don't get cute here. You play him and move on at 3.2K if he does start, and all reports are saying he will start. I'm expecting if he does start, 25 to 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more. At min price, again, I'm going there and moving on. I think it's a pretty free square. Zach LaVine, I think, does go overlooked on the slate, but he's a guy that has 50 plus fantasy point upside. He's the number one on option. I do like him for GPPs. No thank you on Kobe. No thank you on Lauri Markkanen. No thank you on Wendell Carter Jr. Thad Young, I think, is a decent option now that he's starting. I'm guessing we probably get, I don't know if his minutes go up, right? He's been playing mid-20s minutes. Do those minutes go up? I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit. Maybe he gets to like 30 minutes. So Thad Young's a guy that, again, can stuff the stat sheet. 34, 35, 30, 34 fantasy points. I don't think he's going to kill you, but will he win you a GPP? Probably not. So Thad Young's, again, a pretty solid play in the mid-range. Really, for me, it's Satoransky, I think, is a clearer play. Then Thad Young in the mid-range, Levine at the top. All right, so that's it for the breakdown, guys. Let's refresh Translate to make sure we're up to date, and then we'll get to questions. Culver out, Rockets, Porter Jr., Oladipo, Brown, Tate, Patton starting. We don't have the starting lineup used yet for Atlanta. 259 likes, guys, or 259 viewers. That would have been crazy. 66 likes. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into some questions here. So, utility 7K and below. Let me see. 7K and below for utility. I think there's a few options here, to be honest. There's actually a good amount. So Boucher for tournaments, I like a good amount. Anthony Edwards getting a ton of shot attempts up. I like him for tournaments. I think Cantor's a little bit safer as long as he's out of foul trouble. And then you have John Collins too. So like those four guys, I think all look pretty solid. If John Collins starts the 5, I might lean towards him. So keep an eye on that one. Let's see, what else we got here? Somebody solid plays. Jimmy or Kawhi. Yeah, that's a close one. I do like the matchup better for Kawhi. But, again, Jimmy with no Bam, possibly no Hero, it's really close. It's really close. In a situation like that where it's almost a coin flip, I might just lean towards the player that has a better matchup in Kawhi. But, oh, man, it's really close. Cat or Zion? For me, it's Cat. Again, I like the matchup a little bit better there. Jimmy and Zion or Lowry and Cat? I think it's Lowry and Cat. Boucher or Cantor for GPP? I will say I think Cantor's still safer, but I'll go Boucher for tournaments. Lillard or Lowry? For me, it's Lowry for the discount. Cantor, Boucher. Again, Cantor, I would say in a cash game format, probably Boucher for tournaments. Paul George or Kawhi? Paul George, Kawhi, or Zion? For me, it's Kawhi if you can get to him. Yeah, I think Paul George, Zion, Kawhi stack's a decent way to go in tournaments. Lillard a priority, not a priority, but I love the spot. Favorite guard, 4.9K and under. Let's see, 4.9K under guard. Nothing I love, I will say. I think Lou Williams for tournaments, probably plays over 20 minutes. A little risky. I don't love Bacon with Ross back. I think Reggie Jackson, if he starts, probably plays about 25 minutes. Bogdan's been kind of not great recently, so there's nothing that stands out here for me. I would say maybe move something around. If I had to pick, I think I would go one of those Clippers guards, either Reggie or Lou Williams. Favorite spend up? Yeah, I don't know if I have one. I guess Cat at 9.1K. Thoughts on Allen with no Capella? I just think Allen's a little bit too pricey at 8.2K. He can for sure get there. I would rather take the discount, though, on John Collins for like 2K less. Rubio or Gallo? A Rubio for me. Vucevic or Towns? Towns. Hernan Gomez or Layman for Timberwolves? For me, so I think Layman is safer, right? Because Layman's been starting, but he's also a lot lower usage guy. So I think Layman is the safer option. If you're going for the higher risk, high reward play, I think it's Hernan Gomez. But there's if you play Hernan Gomez, you gotta realize there's a chance he gets a DNP. Thoughts on a Zion Kawhi stack? I like it. 3.7K under for utility. Already have Wancho and Satoransky. Again, if you're playing Wancho and Gomez, you gotta be prepared for a DNP. So no, that is a realistic possibility if you play him. 3.7K and under. There's not really much I love here. I would probably move something around. If I had to pick, then I think it would just go, as gross as it sounds, Jake Layman, just because he's been a pretty consistent part of this rotation. 23, 20, 18, and 14 fantasy points. I guess. I don't really love that, though. Favorite 2 cash plays? I think Satoransky is a pretty clear play for value. And then let's see. I think Sato and Towns. Oh yeah. I'm taking a risk with Hernan. But that's just how I play, right? If he gets a 0, if he gets a DNP, so be it. Reggie Jackson in play. If he starts, I think probably plays 25 minutes. No thank you, and Larry Nance. I need to see him to play more minutes before I can target him. Lowry, Porter Jr., Butler, Martin, Olynyk, Sato, Vanderbilt, and Towns for cash. I don't know if I play Vanderbilt, just because the minutes have actually been trending down, right? He's at 4K, 18, 17, 13 minutes. I mean, you never know. If he plays well, maybe they extend him, but I don't want to take that risk when he's at 4K. I would personally rather take a shot on Hernan Gomez, who's the min price. I think that makes more sense. And Noel seems a little bit too pricey. Like, he can still get there, but I think I'd rather go elsewhere. Oladipo or Lowry, Powell or Edwards. That's a good question. Depends how many Raptors you have. If you have no Raptors, then it'll be Powell. If you have a couple Raptors, then it'll be Edwards. So I guess it depends. Olynyk and Edwards or Boucher and Herter. I just hate playing Kevin Herter, so I'll go Olynyk and Edwards. Clint Capella is out, but I don't think John Collins is a lock. I think if he does start at the center, though, he's one of the best plays. Is KPJ a must? I would say close. Yeah, I like Paul George Cat. I like that. Oh, man, Gallinari. Whew. Another guy that has burned me so many times. 5.8K. Yes, he is more viable. Yes, he probably plays about 30 minutes. I think it's a fair option, but I'm personally probably not going to go there. I would rather play John Collins over Gallinari at a similar price. 5.1K utility. All right, guys, a couple more questions here, then I'm going to get out of here. 5.1K, because I do have to update some stuff. 5.1K. You already have Kevin Porter Jr. I think I'd move something around. I don't like anything. I mean, I guess Melo, and just hope he has a good game, but he's been a little bit more up and down. So if I had to pick, it would be Melo, but there's, again, no guarantee of production. Nwaba playing. Okay, again, fair value. Mid-range guard. I think Rubio's pretty solid in the mid-range. You know, Dragic and Nunn would be viable, obviously, if there's no Tyler Hero. But nothing truly stands out there. Lonzo and Zion or Lowry and Boucher. I think it's Lowry and Boucher. Yeah, I like that Portland, Minnesota stack for sure. Cantor, Kellyo. Cantor if you can get to him. Norman Powell or Ant-Man. It's pretty close. Again, it depends on what you have in your lineup. If you already have a couple, I would try to get at least one Toronto Raptor. If you already have a couple, then you can go Ant-Man. If you have none, then go Norman Powell. I have 4.4K for small forward. Can I play Bembry? The answer is yeah, you can play him, but I feel like he's a little bit overpriced because he might only play 20 to 25 minutes. He had 2 blocks and 2 steals at last game, so it's like, yeah, you can, but it's not something I love. Yeah, I like Lowry a lot. Olynyk a must, no. I think he's a solid play, though. Sterling Brown or Noel? I don't really want to play either. I guess Noel. Yeah, Boucher, Cantor. Cantor for cash, Boucher for tournaments. George or Lowry. If I had to pick there, it would be Lowry, but I like both a lot. 3.9K and under for forward. All right, this is the last question, guys. I'm gonna call it. So I appreciate everyone coming to check out the live stream today. 3.9K and under for forward. Ooh, this is pretty much a wasteland. I guess Marcus Morris, if I had to pick. I think he plays 20 to 25 minutes. He hasn't been great recently, but I guess it would be him. KJ Martin, Ennis Cantor, John Collins, or Larry Nance. I mean, I need to see the starting lineup. But if Collins starts at the center, I will say he's probably one of the better plays in the mid-range. For sure. So just keep an eye on that one, guys. Nwaba in play. I do have to update some stuff for Patreon. So good luck to everyone. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And I'll be back here for another live stream on Monday. So I'll see you guys all then.